In the name of God, the Almighty and the Powerful, thank you, and the Omnipotent. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I also would like to thank everybody who helped co-sponsor this meeting. My name is Mosayeb Naimi. I'm a managing director of an Arab language newspaper that is based in Iran. I know a lot of the colleagues around the table today, and I'm proud to be. I'm honored to be here. I have studied this the subject of today's forum, of today's conference, and I would like to lay out its gist for you as regards the so-called Islamist extremism and some of the terrorist groups. Mohammed Abu Bashar described it brilliantly, but in addition to that, I would like to point out two problems from a theoretical point of view. How did this kind of groups emerge to begin with? Now, they date back more than a couple of years. The Wahhabi strain of Islam has been there for decades. There had been warnings, concerns expressed about them from Afghanistan to Latin America, but they still exist. And despite the attitude of the West, we must take note of the paradox that we see in the kind of coverage these terrorist groups get from mass media. This relates to freedom of expression of media when they publish stories about such terrorist groups. Many media outlets effectively publish what amounts to be really manifestos of these terrorist groups. They sometimes publish them freely and in media outlet under the pretext of free speech, and effectively they use mass media, including well-established publications, to spread their word. No country in the world today can feel completely safe and secured against terrorist activities and terrorist attacks. And of course, journalists must express public sentiment, of course, popular sentiment, but not in a perverse form, which is terrorism or a terrorist ideology. Undoubtedly, this issue calls for special purpose research. Admittedly, mistakes have been made in the past, but the most important question is, what are we to do in the future? I don't think we'll be able to see eye to eye on all issues here. There are different attitudes. There is the Western attitude, which is essentially different from the attitude and the approach that we adhere to in the Arab world. The West and Israel have been using their approach and their attitude for the past 30 years to justify their oppressive policies against Islamic nations. Three Arab nations tried taking on Israel and combating Israeli defense forces. That is also a conspiracy against the Muslim world. It's an issue that gets very bigoted, very biased coverage from Western media. We here represent an Asian, the Eastern attitude, if you will. We're living in a new kind of environment where there is no security in any of our respective countries. And in some of our countries, it's an all-out war. Some of our nations have been all but destroyed. And terrorism has gone cross-border from its home region or home countries. It can reach out as far as France or Russia. In addition, what we are all but witnessing a new Cold War, where the West is playing against our region, and the situation is very complicated. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I'm hopeful that our conference will prove helpful.